Hi everyone. So I just finished a coaching call with a client with a team of developers to help them structure the next version of their product. That's a startup with three developers, and they have a couple of challenges to move from version 1 to version 3. Let me develop. They created a first version, and from that first version, they will have to restructure the data model of their database. So what does that really mean? That means that they need to change the APIs. They need to change the application, the mobile application. They need to change the web platform as well. And they need to change the way the data is handled on the backend. And they also need to develop a migration script to import the data that are on the version 1 to the version 2. So in addition to that, they will have to keep both versions in parallel. So which means that having two systems on the same database and maybe allowing users to migrate one after the others from the old version to the new version. So we've seen that a lot. I mean, even with Evernote or this type of application that has a lot of data, each users are free to migrate whenever they want. But the thing is that it is a nightmare for developers to orchestrate that migration, and it costs a lot to migrate all that data. So if you're an early stage startup and if you are about to create your first product or even the next version of your product, there is one thing that is very important to structure correctly. This is the data model. I know, there are Paul Graham who said one day, he wrote a beautiful article which is called "Do Things That Don't Scale." So, okay, we should prototype, we should do things that don't scale. Technically speaking, we can build something that we're going to maybe put in the trash and then after restart. But if there is one thing that you should think twice, that's the data model, because it's not going to take you too much time to challenge your developers, maybe a couple of hours together, maybe half a day, just to think about and to challenge if all the use case you have in mind will be feasible with the current structure that you have in mind. So here is a process that I recommend you to follow, you as a startup founders. I know maybe you don't have any technical background, and I'm not telling you that you have to. You just need to know that process and to ask to your developer to follow that process. So here is the process that I'm recommending to you. First off, you need to define and to share clearly what's your vision, your product vision for the next 5 years. So create a bullet point list of all the features you want to integrate in your application, in your solution, and share that list to your developer. Not to develop everything right now. Of course, you're going to maybe develop 5 or 10% of all that list, but to take into consideration that one day you will need to go and develop this next thing and this next thing, etc., etc. So that's the first step. Share the vision and the features that you have in mind for your product for the next 5 years. Second step, let your developers work on its own to develop the stack, the technology, the framework to develop your solution, taking into consideration, of course, all the features that you shared already, and you give him some time as well to define the data model. He's going to create his first draft and think about how this data model can evolve over time. Then step number 3, this is where your feature list will be very, very important. Just meet with your developer and ask him this specific question. Does your solution or the solution that you prepared will allow me to do and da-da-da? You put the feature that you will want someday to develop. Will it change the structure of your database? So in that case, be sure that your developers think twice, analyze his data model and say, yes, I will be able to do that because it's just a field to add to this table, or it's just a table to add to this model, but it doesn't change the core structure of the current data. Because that's the real thing. When we need to change the core structure, this is when things become a nightmare. So one feature at a time, does your solution will allow me to do this? And you go through the entire solution. This will have a minor impact right now to just spend half a day with your developer for that. But it can have, if you do not anticipate that, a major impact, and you can waste weeks and months in development, in redeveloping things, because you might have not anticipate some of the key features you want to develop in the futures. So that was the 3 steps that I really recommend you. And know that it's not only the data model, this is API, this is the application, this is everything. If you need to change the structure of your data model, it will have some impact on everything, almost every piece of software or in every line of code of your solution. And you will have to redevelop maybe 20 to 50% of your entire solution. So it's better in that case to challenge him correctly. Another solution, another trick that can help you as well, is to have maybe an external CTO, an external developer that is going to come just to challenge this current data model. I do that a lot on a regular basis, and that's what I did just a couple of hours ago, is to just ask to the developer, okay, yeah, but in the vision, we have that feature. Did you anticipate how are we going to evolve toward that feature? Maybe we should put something differently. And that's really just a great discussion between technical people, and it allows right from the bat to start with a much better data model, and so that you will have a product that will be able to evolve over time. Even if you change the framework, if you change the technology, if you change the languages, it doesn't really matter. The database structure will remain the same. You will, if you do things correctly right now, you will be able to migrate your data from maybe one database system to another, to an SQL to no SQL, etc., etc. But the data structure, the original one, will remain the same. So I hope it helps, and I hope it will enable you to maybe save weeks and months in budgets and in time above all in your software development for your next version. Wishing you a great day, and I'm going to see you very soon for another episode. Bye for now.